the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox back with another great episode of Nashville 2, Middle Tennessee Stories, where we tell your story. So if you know somebody that has a great story, we'd love to have them on Nashville 2. And today, my special guest is the owner and head and chef of Cabin Attic Burgers, and JP Murphy. Hey, good to have you with us, JP.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, awesome. Now, are you from Middle Tennessee originally? That's normally the first question I ask everybody.
I am. Lived in Brentwood, moved to Franklin, and went to Brentwood High School, went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. I've pretty much been in Tennessee my whole life. I was born in Chicago, but my parents moved down here when I was 9 months old, so Tennessee's home.
Right. Gotcha. So, and as a chef, how did you decide that you wanted to become a chef?
Honestly, I went to the University of Tennessee for physical anthropology.
What is that? What's physical anthropology?
I specifically studied osteology, so human skeletons. I worked on the body farm, as the layman's call it. I focused on archaeology, but I ended up being rejected from 6 different graduate programs in 2011. So I felt kind of lost and everything, and I started a small food blog while I was looking for work. And my dad has always really been into wine. He's a sommelier too, and he went to a wine tasting and met Chef Bob Wagner and said, my son's really into cooking. And Chef Bob said, heck yeah, bring him in. I'll teach him how to cook, but I won't pay him. And so I ended up starting at Watermark under Chef Bob. And he didn't pay me for 3 solid months. And within 2 years, I had worked my way all the way up to sous chef of Watermark. And that's when he sent me to France. And now I'm here making burgers and French fries.
There you go. There you go. So it wasn't something that you were looking for necessarily, but you did enjoy cooking, and then your dad, just connections, right? It's those thin threads, isn't it? That can take you all over the world and make and meet a bunch of new people that you just don't know what it's going to lead to.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but high school
connections.
Right. I don't know about you, but high school and college, we think in high school that this is life, right? And that our life's going to be like this, and we're going to stay friends with everybody from high school forever. But we don't realize how much bigger the world is, right? And until we get out in it, and then we go, this adulting is hard. I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's pretty much, I was pretty depressed after receiving all those rejection letters. And my first day walking into a kitchen, unfortunately, he passed a couple of years ago, but the sous chef then, Chef Paul Ent, he, when I walked in, he looked at me and he said, "Welcome to the last brigade of pirates in the known free world." And that's exactly what it is. But everyone's super welcoming, and everyone wants you to be successful, no matter how red in the face and spit screaming at you. They are. Everyone it's all for the same goal, and it's a big community. And I say a big community, but it's a small group of people, and everyone knows everyone, especially in this city.
Right. So tell me a little bit, we were talking a little bit about off air about your journey. So you go to France. Tell me about some of the different places you've worked at. Sort of run me through that.
Yeah. So there were 2 friends of Chef Bob. Chef Bob is actually one of the first foreigners. I think he might be the first foreigner to be knighted in France for his culinary ability.
Oh, wow.
He moved from LA to France when he was pretty young. I think he was like 18, and eventually opened up a restaurant in Burgundy. And so he met a lot of friends there, and he sent me to Jose de Anacleto, who owns Hotel Million in Albertville. I don't know if you recognize Albertville, but it's I think it was the 1994 Winter Olympics was held in
Oh,
Albertville,
really? Okay.
France. It's right outside of Geneva, on the border there in the Alps. And so I got to learn a lot about. He's got, at the time he had one Michelin star. I think he still retains it, and he had two for a while. So I got to cook with him, learn a lot about how to make foie gras and these big hearty cream, butter, potatoes, all that,
Right. Yep.
really
The French
healthy
stuff,
stuff
right? The
for you.
French creamy, the million calorie stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The one meal a day
Right.
kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I got to work with him, and then from there I took a train ride over to Saint-Galmier. They're actually known for being the most flowerful city in France, and I got to move there in the spring, so it was beautiful. And because it was the spring, we were opening up, doing kind of more fresh stuff, actually getting things from farmers. He unfortunately closed down his restaurant, which was called Le Bougainvilliers, and it was connected to Le Cati Peace, which was his little 4-bedroom hotel. But now he just flipped it and he turned it into a cooking school.
Okay.
So he just loved teaching people, and so it was great being with him. He was just the kindest man I think I've ever been with. And I slept in both the chefs' homes. I just worked for room and board. They call it the stagiaire, uh, and actually they're trying to move away from it, kind of how we are wanting to be paid for all of our efforts today. France is kind of moving away from staging. Uh, but yeah, it was a crazy experience, and it got me. I spent a lot of the time handwriting my resume and letters and sending them off to David Chang and April Bloomfield and to all these places. And I got the most response back from New York City. And I ended up there and kind of running around, working 6 days a week, double shifts every day, and only able to afford $800 for an apartment. So
That
that
wouldn't get you
city,
much apartment in New York.
yeah, no, no. I lived with a couple. There was only 2 rooms and one bathroom. We had like a mouse named Stevie that hung out with us all the time. So that city kind of chewed me up and spit me out, but it really made me realize that Nashville was home. And so I came back here and kind of continued my journey. And I just knew that I wanted to make food for the people of Nashville and do what I love and give back to the community that gave back to me so much.
Right. I think sometimes we don't realize that the story of the people behind the counter, whatever that counter is, right? Whether it's your local restaurant, or it's your local brewery, or it's your local chemist shop or drugstore, you don't know what's going on with the people, the business owners, the employees. You don't know their story, you don't know their journey, and that's one of the reasons we do this podcast, is because I think it's great to hear, oh, he's just a food truck. No, he's not just a food truck. Like, look at his history. Look at what he's done, right? And I think we can see all of those stories, and that's why I love having guys like you on to tell those stories. Okay, so we're going to move forward. You've done a couple of different things on your own. You were telling me that you decided to try and launch 2 different businesses. Or 2 different locations. Go into a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I guess if we fast forward, I started. It's actually very frowned upon by the health department, but I started under a 10 by 10 tent, and just kind of jumped around to mostly breweries. There's a lot of breweries in town that don't have food programs, but if you got food, people are going to drink a few more
Right.
pints than,
Yep.
and so they see the benefit in it. And so, New Heights and Fay La Force, Monday Night Brewing, and Bearded Iris, they all gave me a lot of shots to just kind of get my name out there and get some brand recognition. And eventually I bought the trailer about a year after starting, and kind of drove that around a little bit. Went to Beeman Toyota and uh, fed their troops, and then Bearded Iris. They have Black Dynasty ramen at their Sylvan Supply location, and they kind of saw the success of Black Dynasty, and they loved the burgers and the French fries we did, and asked me if I wanted to stay put. And I thought, not drive this 20-foot trailer around Nashville.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I will do whatever I can to do that. So yeah, just ended up parking there. We've been there for, I think almost 2 years. It's been going really well. We just keep growing. And with that, Diskin, they had a small pop-up. They have a physical kitchen in their cidery, and they had a small pop-up there, and they asked if we wanted to kind of take it over. And you need a commissary kitchen with a food trailer in order to have certain things like gray water dump and all that, and they already had that. So we thought, well, if we can use this as a commissary and we can run their food program. And it was a fun year. We opened March 2nd, we closed March 5th the next year. And it was a fun experiment to see, one, could we run 2 locations, and 2, we did a completely different menu. We had like gumbo and crawfish etouffee, and we got to experiment and kind of see who our loyalists were, and what they really wanted, and what they really want is burgers and French fries. So we ended up learning a whole heck of a lot from that process, which is why we've started going 7 days a week at Bearded Iris. And yesterday went really well, and we've got Shrek trivia tonight. So I'm sure that will.
So as we record this, we're recording this March 26th of 24. And so you decided that you're just going to go down to the one location. You're at, where are you located at? Germantown?
Yeah, it's in
Bearded Iris Germantown location.
Yeah, so if you know, it's kind of around the Optimist or Oku, if you know those restaurants.
Okay.
We're over there. We're the big green trailer sitting in a gravel parking lot.
Okay, great. And so as of yesterday, you have opened full time, and you must be working, what, 60 odd hours a week?
Yeah, so we're going to be open 64 hours. This is the first week. It started yesterday. So some fun things, is if you come and order at the window from us, we're going to give you 10% off your entire order, just because I'm stoked to be open so much. And we've also discounted our hats, discounted our shirts, merchandise, and everything.
They got merch, good.
Yeah, and then we've got we're launching a Cuban sandwich, a kimchi sandwich, and a pimento cheese burger and stuff. Okay. So
I have to get down there and try you out. Summer. I have to come down. Are you a fan of dad jokes or not really?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
My girlfriend can't handle the amount of dad jokes.
Okay. Well, you know what you need to get her? I just had these made. These are little figurines of me, and they tell 101 dad jokes in 9 minutes.
That is incredible.
But I'll bring you one.
Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah, and I'm totally qualified. I don't know if you can see there. I've got my qualifications. So I'm a big fan of dad jokes, and my kids, like, they say, they groan and they roll their eyes, and they're all like 25, 28, and 30 now. But it's funny. Then they'll send me new ones. Oh, have you heard this one before? And so they keep it coming. So I have to come down. I have to come down one day when you're there, and I'll drop off one of those for you to have as a gift.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So what do we need to know for people listening to us right now? And they, burgers and fries. Oh, well, you can get burgers and fries anywhere, but you can't. I just had a great burger in South Carolina, and man, I am so looking forward to the next great burger. And it's probably going to be at your place. That'll be the next great burger.
I hope so.
So I had a friend take me to Brown's Diner there in town. Have you eaten there?
Yeah.
Good old greasy, greasy spoon hole in the wall. So that was good too. But man, it's hard to find a good burger anymore. So was it just customer feedback that you decided that was the way you were going to go?
Yeah. So I really, my ultimate goal is to own a brew pub.
Right.
And I want to, like my dad is a sommelier level 2, and I'm actually a level 2 cicerone, which is the beer side
Oh, okay.
of sommelier. And I've always wanted to show people that you can have beer in a white tablecloth setting. And so my ultimate goal is to be that. And when I originally wrote this business plan, and we're talking about millions of dollars to get an operation like that. And essentially everyone told me, like, who are you? Like, you have a cool story, but no one's going to know who you are. You don't have a name to go on. Like, how is this going to work out? And I said, okay, well, what do we need? And he said, brand recognition and name recognition. And then I kept coming back and saying, okay, well, how about we do this? And they were like, think smaller. Okay, well, how about we do this? Think smaller. Okay, well, how about we do this? Think smaller. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to stop coming to you guys. I took my own money, shoved it all in, and just plowed forward. And the simplest thing for me to do, because I was the only employee for a minute, and I was, making the burgers, making the fries, running it to the table. I was trying to do everything all at once, being the cashier. And the simplest thing to do was smash burgers.
Right.
And I could do them really, really fast and get them to the people, unless it was crazy busy. Then I had some wait times, but yeah, that's kind of how it all came to fruition. Was just,
well, I think that's a good
like,
story.
what can I afford?
Yeah, I think a lot of times people give up on their dreams because they go to a bank or they go to look for investors and they say, "Oh, no, 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 no." And I'm that guy too, right? I left school at 15 to open my first business, ninth grade dropout. My folks said, like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, come on, help me open up this convenience store." And they're like, "With what?" I said, "I got $80." They're like, "What are you going to do with $80?" And we were just able to get everything on a consignment. The milkman put the milk in on consignment, and my listeners have heard this story before. But the point is, somebody like you doing that too and running into the same things, there's so many people that give up on their dream way too early, right? And they won't commit, right? They won't commit. If they're going to take a trip to California, they want all the lights to be green before they even leave the driveway. And that's not the way it goes, right? You don't even know if you've got a road. You're hoping that once you get past the first light, that it doesn't turn into just wilderness, that you can keep going along the path, right? And you just have to hold on to your dream and you have to go for it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I encounter a new problem every day. And over, the past 3 years, to say that I haven't sat down with my family and said, like, I don't know if I should be doing this. This is so difficult and it's wearing me down. But yeah, it's all about that perseverance and really, honestly, having a good group behind you that can support you. The nice thing with me is Bad Luck Burger Company. They started pretty much at the exact same time I did. Shane over at Cletus Burgers, he was leaving his Honey Fire Barbecue and starting to think about Cletus Burgers. My roommate at the time was Jesse Valenciana. He owned a Secret Bodega pop up now. So I was able to surround myself with these, one, people who loved burgers, and then two, just people in the same boat as me,
Right.
who could look at me and be like, I feel that all the time. But my grandfather always used to say, this too shall pass. And it is this too shall pass, not these bad times will pass, because you got to remember that the good times pass too. But It always, it's
Yeah.
just keeps going, just keeps
Yeah.
going. You just got to keep the ball rolling. So
Yeah.
yeah, just been pushing for 3 years now. And there are definitely those times for any entrepreneurs listening, but just kind of have
Perseverance.
faith and keep persevering.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you biggest tip. I think perseverance, persistence, a good attitude, and not listening to too many people, which can sometimes be bad, but most of the time it's good. You've got to decide what you want, and then you've got to go for it. I'm writing a book right now called "Be Authentic." Unless you're a serial killer, then don't be that. Change, right? But being authentic, right? Being genuine to who we are. I think we as humans, God's given us the ability to pick out if somebody's being genuine and authentic or not. And those people that aren't genuine and authentic, we can tell. We can sort of like they're off, right? Our spidey senses go off, right, when they're not being authentic. And I think
Yeah.
more than ever before, since COVID, it's been like a giant reset for a lot of us that says, you know what? We want to do what we want to do. We want to be authentic. We want to be genuine. We want to be better people, and enjoy our life. And I think that's what I hear your story, even though you've been doing it for a while longer. You're coming up on a big milestone, right? Is that April?
Yeah, so well, it's not our milestone, it's Bearded Iris's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've got their 8-year anniversary on April 6th. So it's going to be a big party at the Germantown location. But that's actually pretty close to when we started with them, was for their 2 anniversaries, and they're
Right.
hands down the busiest day of the year for both of us.
Right.
It's a lot of fun and everything. So yeah, I guess we kind of hold hands with that
Right.
that
Symbiotic
date.
relationship there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one of the things we like to do on the show is talk about, where do you like to go, or we call them hidden gems. What are some things you like around Middle Tennessee? It doesn't have to be food. It can be food, no problem. But things that maybe somebody listening to this that's coming to Nashville, or maybe they've lived in Murfreesboro all their life and they haven't been to this part or this thing that you know about. Hit me with your first hidden gem that you love about Nashville.
Man, Jesse is going to kill me for saying this to a bunch of public people, but on Harding Place, Carniceria San Luis, when you're driving down Harding Place, you'll see the big dome barbecue grills, and they're smoking. They seem to smoke 24/7.
Right.
And they've got this incredible market in there, and it's mostly meats, and they focus on Mexico, but they have a lot of other Hispanic stuff. But if you walk past the market on the same building, they have a tiny little window. And I don't think anyone has ever spoke English to me at that window. Every time I go, it's a line of Hispanic gentlemen in their yellow vest coming from their hard day labor. So you know it's good. And they
Right.
have a Monterey hamburguesa that it's got jamon, avocado, yellow mustard. It's the size of my head. And the first time I ordered several tacos too, and that was a huge mistake. So just get the hamburguesa if you go there. But I think that's my
For those of us uninformed, what is that?
It's a hamburger. So it's
Okay.
Mexico just being like, oh, we love American hamburgers. How do we make it our own? And the beef patty has like ancho chili and all these spices on it. It's not just salt and pepper. And man, they make some good stuff. Their carnitas on their tacos are perfect. I'm pretty sure they make them on a spit, so it's really traditional.
Right.
And everything. I love that place.
So, and what's the name of it called again? I'm gonna write it down now.
Yeah, it's Carniceria, Carniceria, San Luis, SAN space LUIS.
Okay.
It's so good. That would definitely be my hidden gem, I think. I love
Folks,
going.
you heard it here first. JP's hidden gem. It sounds good. I'm already, my mouth's already watering. So I'm going to have to go check that out. Okay. Any other ones that deserve an honorable mention? We try and do 3.
I
Doesn't
feel
have
like
to
a
be
lot
2.
of people know him now is
Right.
Tuta de Gio, kind of in between Donaldson and Mount Juliet.
Okay.
It's a Sicilian family, and they put this little pizza and pasta restaurant. They make everything fresh in-house, but it's in a little strip mall, and it's
Right.
incredibly unassuming. That's another good one. Honestly, the one that keeps playing in my head is my brother lives in Arizona, but he got to come in this past weekend for a bachelor party, and I got to join them, and we all went to Audrey, Sean Brock's restaurant, and
Okay.
we did their tasting menu. And I know it's not hidden, but I
I've never been there.
probably, yeah, if there was unlimited, I probably would have eaten myself to death. It was so good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have you shoot me an email with those 3 locations, just so I've got their information, if you would, and then we'll put that in the show notes. As we wrap
Absolutely.
up, we're a bit out of time, but as we wrap up, would you come back again and as you progress through this journey, tell us more about your story and give us an update on how attic cabin, is it?
I
Cabin attic.
absolutely would come back. I mean, this has been
Cabin attic.
a great time, honestly. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah,
So
well, and I
I'd
love
love to
hearing
come
these.
back.
Yeah, I love hearing these stories, and I think letting people in to know who you are as an individual, right, helps build that brand and helps understand that you're not just pumping out something, just that they're just a number. Each customer matters to you, and each burger you make, and you want people to enjoy it, and you want them to have a good time, and I think that's key, and that's what makes me love the people of Nashville and the stories across Middle Tennessee, because you just there's hundreds of these stories, there's hundreds of these locations, whether it be food or something else, and people just don't know about them, right?
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah,
love
it's
for you to
hard
come
to,
back.
you just look at the surface and you can't see the passion behind everything.
Right.
And so, yeah,
Right.
I'd
Yeah,
love to come
exactly.
on and continue to tell you everyone about what we're working on and where
Awesome.
we're
And
progressing.
what's the best place for people to find you? Is it Instagram, Facebook? Just go directly to your website?
Yeah, our Instagram is just at Cabin Attic, CABINATTIC. I have to spell it out because people think it's Cabin Addicts, which I am an addict for cabins.
There you go.
But yeah, you can go there, follow us on Instagram. I post mostly on that, but our website has our menu, and you can order delivery on our website, and that's just cabinattic.com.
Okay. Well, awesome. JP, I'll look forward to seeing you. And if you can shoot me an email with those hidden gems in, those 3 hidden gems, and we'll add it to the show notes. And then we'll have you back. But I'm coming down and I'm going to have one of your burgers, and then I'll be able to talk about that as well.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.